Holocaust Remembrance Day. Our hearts are very heavy during this time. In Hebrew it's called Yom HaZikaron LaShoah VeLaGvura, which of course means also remembering this smear on human history, this Shoah, which is how we say Holocaust, but also the heroes who arose and stood up against the Nazis. What a smear on the human history canvas. Here in Israel, the flags are at half-mast. Right now, at 10 o'clock is when you hear that siren, that eerie siren of just resounding, and all the cars stop. We here, as we remember, we want to also look forward with hope. And so here in Israel, we had to choose a day. The government decided to choose this day as the day to commemorate approximately 6 million Jews murdered in the Holocaust by Nazi Germany and, of course, Nazi Germany's collaborators. And it wasn't just Jewish people that perished. There was others that perished as well. But the resistance is also, it's notable that there was a Jewish resistance that arose in that period as well. So during this Memorial Day, during this commemoration, it first took place in 1951. And the observance of this day was anchored in law, passed in 1959. And part of the law was that sirens would blare throughout the entire country at 10 o'clock. And even you'll see that the big highways, everything is completely stopped. People get out of their car and they stand completely still. We stand still also. Flags, of course, I mentioned, are at half-mast. Jewish communities light a fire over there in Yad Vashem. Children will go and tell stories about what they've heard from their grandma or from people who survived the Holocaust. Synagogues as well will have Jewish community all come together and commemorate just the hope that, you think about this for a minute, after such an atrocity, you have the birth of Israel right after in 1948. And so you have the Jewish people recognizing that sometimes out of the worst you can have the best. And you see these very people who came from the Warsaw Ghetto. Maybe some of them were those who rose up on April 19th in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. And they tell their stories also of the hope there. And so what we like to do here is recognize that these Holocaust survivors are actually new immigrants. So they at one time were new immigrants, that is, and they still need help. So what we do right now, come join us, if you will, as we commemorate this terrible history by showing some hope and putting actually a surprised smile on the faces of some of these Holocaust survivors. We invite people from all over the world to come and be part of this. We call these the Golden Galas. See right now how crowds of people are coming and arriving from Brazil and England and America and all over the world here. And as you see, we light some candles here. And we have some somber music and prayers, but what we do here, we also provide a feast. These Golden Galas have a feast as their central part, and we invite Holocaust survivors in. We've been doing this for many, many years, and have them tell their story. So I want to ask you, will you take the time? Will you watch this all the way through? Will you listen to some of these stories right now that are being shared?
My grandpa was hung by Germans because he used to be a partisan. It was in the city of Zhytomyr in Ukraine. And my grandma, she was shot just in her bed. She was sick at the time. Two brothers of my mom, they were missed in action. They were killed in the front. And two other, my grandparents, my grandma and my grandpa, they died in ghetto. My dad had two brothers, and one of them was killed near Stalingrad, and one of them almost reached Berlin, and he also died there, was killed there. And my mom with 3 kids, we got to a small village on Volga River near Kuibyshev. We were starving there. I was almost blind and deaf, and my sisters also were lying on their beds, and my mom could hardly move. across the room. But one of our far relatives, members of our big family, he used to work at a railway, and he gave us a sack of pasta, spaghetti, and 2 loaves of bread, and that really helped us to survive. Also, the kolkhoz, the kibbutz that we used to live, they gave us the leftovers of when they make sunflower oil from sunflowers. And there's some stuff left after that, so it was given to us. We ate this, and then there was a holiday, and they gave us a small sack of coffee beans. But we were so hungry that we ate these coffee beans. In 1943, our dad came back to us. He was severely wounded, and because he crossed the Dnieper, the river Dnieper, in a very cold weather. He had an open form of tuberculosis. And I still recall people from that small village that were really open and kind to us. They shared the last piece of bread with us. And when the capital of the Ukraine, Kiev, was liberated from the Germans, the whole village, all the people from that village came to greet us, and they brought whatever they could. Some of them brought a piece of onion, cucumber, some brought a piece of bread. In March 44, Vinnytsia, our native town, was liberated, and in June we were already there, and we knew that there were really many victims there in that town, and on the local stadium, thousands of local residents were murdered.
Some of these memories are just horrific. Thank you for listening as they share. And really, I want to inspire you in this time.
My name is Galina Moiseyevna. I came to Israel in 2006. I've never seen my father. He, of course, never seen me. Only the last month of war, we received a small postcard from my dad. He called me by name. In 1941, when the war began, my family lived in Belarus, and I was not yet born. When the war began and they started bombing, my dad took his family, my brother and sister, my mom, of course, and we moved to Polotsk, the town of Polotsk, where his relatives lived. When we looked back, we saw that the bridge that we just crossed was ruined, was bombed. If we would wait another maybe 5 minutes, we would be lost. And my dad took the family over Volga, where my grandpa died, and he was buried there on a very high hill. Our father, he just brought the family there, and he was immediately drafted to the front. He entered the army. And in 1942, we received a message from the army that he was killed near Stalingrad. We were starving there. It was very, very hard to live there. Many of us were sick, but local people, local residents helped us really a lot. In 1944, when Belarus was liberated, we got back. And when I was moving to Moscow to then fly to Israel, I saw a night dream. And in that dream, I saw my late father, and he was smiling to me. I knew that I will be really well here, because I love Israel very much.
Imagine how it was for them, their memories of teeth being pulled out to get the gold filling, the robbery of rings, the robbery of necklaces, earrings, and so on. And now to see that Christians and lovers of Israel from around the world have given gold rings, and they just keep coming in, and we're able to continue to make these rings. I want to inspire you. You could be part of this story. You could be part of the restoration of Israel And that's kind of a looking towards the hope, right? Tikva, that's our national anthem, is the hope. And part of the hope for not only these Holocaust survivors, but for the future, is that righteousness will win. God will win in the end. And it's amazing to be able to continue to do this and show it right now on Yom HaShoah, or the Holocaust Remembrance Day. Thank you so much for your care for these. And also, these packages that are able to be given. It's just amazing to see the kindness in your hearts and to see a smile come back to their face as they are still in need in this time. God bless you.